Today, we are talking about boundaries.
Popular requests.
Yeah, that
Quite a
came
few people.
from the last podcast. Boundaries came up a little bit, and a few people said, "Oh, that'd be a really interesting topic to talk about." I feel one of the things that doing this podcast has taught me is just I've been going into this with no research and just kind of seeing what comes up and just trusting myself to say something. I was going to say the right things, but there's no such thing.
There you go. What's boundary mean to you, Jake?
Well, the first question is: is this in relation to our realm or just in general? Or does it not matter?
I think it's. I mean, like everything we've talked about so far, right?
Yeah.
It's across your whole life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So maybe we should define boundary for what it means. Just the word, maybe what comes up for you, and then for me, and then we see where that goes. Hey?
Yeah.
Does that sound like a good? Yeah.
So for me, boundaries are about being. The word that keeps coming up for me is actually self-respect. That's just, I was trying to think something more broad than that, but that's the kind of one that came up because
man,
I think self-respect and boundaries they're so deeply tied, because if you don't have the ability to put boundaries in place, which to me is about actually spending your time in the way that you want to spend it and protecting your time, protecting your energy for the things that are important to you, that's ultimately about self-respect to me. And if you don't respect yourself and you let everyone else through, whether it's someone with a stronger personality than you or someone that demands your time and your energy when it's not really their place to demand it, or maybe it's more about you and it's about you not feeling confident enough to actually protect your time and say no or say yes, whatever context we're talking about. So I think for me, it's ultimately about self-respect. What about you?
Yeah, man, self-respect. Wow, let's open that up. But come back to boundary. For me, when we said it yesterday, you were like, "Oh, you good to talk about boundaries?" And I was like, similar to you, I was like, "Oh, should I research something about boundaries?" Like, no, I know. What came up for me was when we bought the house in Sri Lanka, it had no wall. It was just like land with this house, and all the other neighbors were everywhere, and there's not even a boundary. And everyone was like, "You need to make a boundary wall. You need to put up your boundary wall." That's the term they use, not just the garden wall. Boundary wall. And the idea of that is that we're marking out this our space. This is our space, and I can control what comes in and what goes out of my space. It's like a very physical wall was like X feet high and X feet long, and it bordered our property. Now, if I use that like my property, my land, our land there as me, like I go like my physical me, like what, like physically, if someone gets into your face or is a bit too close, it's like, oh, that's like they've stepped the physical boundary of mine. So I'm like going physical boundary, like this is my space here, and within that I can control what comes in and out of that space. So yeah, I think I see it as like a literal piece and self-respect. And then I'm like, have I got the self-respect to only let things into my boundary that are nourishing for me? Or am I like, yeah, everyone come into my land? To take the land thing. Everyone come on in and do what you want in here, and you're weird, come on in. You've got negative energy, come on in. That's not respecting my boundaries. Conversely, you've got somebody who's like trying to get in that I've said no to maybe, or I don't know, or I have no religion, and they're trying to come in this case, like someone trying to sell their products that I've said no thank you, and they're like coming into my boundary, then there's this feeling of violation. This is what I've said is my space, and you've come in without me. So yeah, there's a long answer. And what do we do?
There's kind of from what you said there, there's almost two elements I'm seeing. There's people stepping into your boundary and like what you do in as response to that, and then there's also you putting the boundaries in place yourself. So there's like almost a give and a take a little bit.
Beautiful, yeah. Because if there wasn't the wall, I didn't have the gate, anyone can come in, and then I don't have a right, or it's hard for me to know, or anyone to know. Can I go and see Joe? There's no way to know. There's no doorbell. I'll just come in his boundary, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think trying to reflect on maybe a scenario where boundary has been very apparent for me over recent years, I think was giving up alcohol.
Mm.
So that boundary might be a certain scenario. Maybe it's a stag do, a wedding, a social occasion, and you get the inevitable peer pressure. Oh, just have a drink. Why aren't you drinking, Jake? Or like, just have a drink, like have a little fun. Different topic entirely. But what I found was if you don't have a clear boundary there, people then don't respect you. In fact, actually being boundaryless isn't just about self-respect, it's actually about other people respecting you as well. Because
100%.
when people, if you are confident in your boundaries and your decisions and like what you do and how you act, then people actually naturally, there's almost like an aura that you give off and people respect you and they don't go, oh, come on, Jake, just have a little fun. They're just like, oh, Jake doesn't drink.
Yeah, but I love that. Oh, that could open a whole thing. But it's just funny, isn't it? When we, however old we are, and we say we're not drinking, those cliches that I learned in, like, I was taught in school, like, no, don't do drugs. Like, go on, all your friends are doing it. They play out forever. Oh, come on, we're all just have one. Those are what I remember learning at like 12 years old. Like, oh, they're going to offer you drugs. They're going to say it's so weird. Anyway, diversion. So what came up for me there was this like this is shout out Sacred Sons. When I did my men's work training, they one of the pieces about boundary was loving boundaries, strong presence, strong boundaries, loving presence. Okay, so if I've got a strong boundary, but I'm enforcing it with like love, like, hey man, I've had a wedding with friends, and hey, I'm not drinking. Thanks for enjoy yourselves, but I'm not drinking. Thank you. That's like with love, but and then if I'm strong, like I've said no, I'm not drinking. Just back off, please. So it's like this strength, but I'm saying it with love. Where if I'm like, oh, I kind of quit, so oh, that's not a boundary, and it's not strong, and I'm not treating myself with love. So I try and think of that I really, really try and embody that with my kids. We talk about boundaries with families, with work, with nutrition, all of it. Why do I set this boundary? If I set it with love or I set it out of fear, I'm scared, so I've put up this boundary. Okay, that's all right, but where is that fear? I can't drink because I've got alcoholic tendencies in my family, and I know that it could spiral into violence or aggression. I'm scared of that. Okay, well, I have to again. You have to acknowledge why the boundary is there. So why did you quit drinking?
Why did I quit drinking?
Yeah, and let's explore the boundary that then has to be made.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I stopped drinking by mistake almost. So nice. We had Axel, Morgan's pregnant, I'm breastfeeding. Naturally, like there's not as much social opportunities. We'd moved to a new place. Before you know it, you look back and you're like, oh wow, I haven't had a drink for 6 months. And then you recognise, you reflect, you go, okay, I feel great. Like it's not serving me anymore. Why? Yeah, it didn't really feel like a decision for me.
Okay. I don't notice that you felt better.
Yeah, it was a bit of a final frontier for me, to be honest. Like living in London, on and off over the last 10 years previously to moving here. Should we shut that window?
Yeah, it's a bit drilly out there.
Yeah, living in London, you know what it's like. Yeah. Anyone that's lived in like a big city like London, New York, LA, wherever else, and especially in London, the drinking culture is massive. So I'd be eating well, I'd be training, living this holistic, healthy life, but the one thing that was still there was binge drinking culture. So I would be drinking at least 3 times a week, and probably at least one to two of those would be pretty heavy drinking. Yeah. And there was this weird hypocrisy of the things that was. Maybe hypocrisy is not even the right word. There was just that was still happening
in alignment with everything else,
and it was just so deeply ingrained in me. And I always remember one of my last years in London, and went home for Christmas. Families all together. And my mum's never been, well, since I've been born, has not been a big drinker. She'd always just have one glass of wine.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to her, I said, Mum, why don't you just have another glass? Like, we're all drinking, like, just have a little fun. Makes me cringe thinking I said that now.
Yeah.
But I said that to her, and I think back to that now, and it's kind of just, it shows me how lost that I was in that behaviour, in the sense of not that it's right or wrong, but in the sense of absolute lack of awareness of why I was participating in that, why I was doing what I was getting out of it. It was literally a habit of going out and getting drunk. And obviously, the thing about drinking is that it's so tied up in socializing, seeing your friends, fun, dancing, music, good food. It's so wrapped up in other pleasurable things that to actually isolate it and go, that the drinking isn't that moment. Like, all those other things can still exist without it. So for me, being removed from that and put into a scenario where I wasn't partaking in that behavior, and a lot of my activities were maybe in the day with children, all those fun things, but the drinking part was removed naturally, to then realize, oh wow, that actually wasn't necessary in order to have the fun. So then the question from that is, how did the boundary evolve? From that, I guess.
And with that, just going down it, like, were there then boundaries around which people you could socialize with? Because if it's anything like me, some of my friends would be like, "Oh, you quit drinking, sweet." Others were like, "What?" And then curious.
No is the answer.
Okay.
And I think that's a testament to the close friends that I do have. The fact that I was able to just go into that and they just respected me for it. That's nice. Big up friends out there.
Good reminder, man.
Big up the homeboys. Big up.
Because that's hard. That's not everyone. How often do our clients they're laughing at me?
We just respect each other in that group of friends.
What were the boundaries of that friendship group that you had? Like, how was that formed?
Initially?
Yeah, like, so there was a respect of each other's choices, lifestyle behaviors, that meant you could show up and not drink or whatever else people decided through their lives, but you were able to stay in like right relation with them. Is that boundaries or is that like values?
I think it's values.
Yeah.
Been a group of friends that's been evolving for a long time. Some of the guys in the group I've known since I've been like 2 or 3 years old.
Okay.
People have come and gone from that group, but like a mutual respect and just good people.
Yeah. Okay.
At the end of the good, mate, I want to say like mentally sound people, because I feel personally, if you're persecuting someone and overstepping their boundaries, like, that's a you issue. It's not the person that's got the boundaries, right? Why can't you just respect someone's boundaries? It doesn't matter what they are.
Yeah.
Like, that's a you issue.
Yeah.
So to me, that's like a lack of confidence in yourself. So
yeah,
I think those guys that I'm referring to, they're happy, successful, like mentally sound people, so they don't feel the need to peer pressure or bully or overstep boundaries for whatever reason.
No, great, man. That was really beautiful, and a beautiful reminder for you and for everyone else to go. Oh.
But there's still a point where I'm like, oh, I'm not drinking, so no, guys.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's said with confidence.
Yeah.
It's said straight up. It's not. There's not holes in it, and there might be a conversation around that.
That's a beautiful topic, which is almost the start of how you start to set boundaries. I call it the sacred no. Like, it's way more powerful than how easy is it to say yes.
Very easy.
Can you ever drink yes? No. Ooh, I feel already like that's a negative. So as soon as we're confident enough in a decision to say, no, I'm not going to the pub tonight. No, I'm not. Any of these things that pull us away from how's our new tech setup doing?
I'm just turning it off the face tracking.
Oh yeah.
For some reason it just really wants you.
Wow. Looking good today.
There we go. Hey guys.
Hey,
we're back.
There's Jake.
Centered.
Smashing. Yeah, so the sacred no, and the no creates the first boundary. It creates a sense of empowerment. When I say no, I'm not going to that thing that I just don't want to go to, whatever social function, never mind booze, let's just move away. It could be anything, right? I don't want to be at that thing because I don't really like punk music, and I know my friends playing that gig. I just don't want to go. So I'll just say no. It's hard at first.
It is hard.
And it feels weird. I've let them down, and I should. And good people say yes. And
why do we do that? Why do we feel?
Well, I think it's
obliged to say yes.
It's the people pleaser, right? It's we want to be liked and accepted and part of the gang and all of that, right? Like so for that, like I love it when a client will say to me, "I'm not doing the mobility workouts. I don't have time for it." Now it's a question of like, why not? Because a lot of us need it. We all need it. But there's or they're like, "No, I'm not working out 3 times a week. I'm doing 1 because of my schedule." Great, man. He said no. Okay, then we can gently prod that no, and that's a job in a coaching situation to prod the no and work it out. But or like a friend will say to me, I'm inviting them something, and they're like, "No, I'm not making a workshop. I'm not really feeling it." A bit of like, "Oh, I wish you could come," but great. I respect you way more. It's like what you said earlier, like the respect from somebody sort of going, or respecting you when you said, "I'm not going to drink that." Oh, cool. All right, let's carry on.
Yeah.
Saying no. So your question there was like, why do we always feel we need to say yes? Right. It's that we're humans. We're worried if I don't, I'll be left out in the cold. You know.
Yeah.
I think is better, and there's levels of people pleasing of what we received as children and all of that. But fundamentally, you know, we're all going hunting back in the day. I'm not going. Well, you're not going to eat, mate. You might die.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something primal in us that's like, I better stay with the gang to be safe. Is it? Have you set the boundaries? Is it the right gang? Is it the right group? Is it the right thing? We've fallen into it. Oh, this is where I work, and everyone booze culture. This is what we do. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're in the pub. You're in the wrong gang.
Do you think? I feel like we almost need to define what a boundary is. Like, is a boundary is it taking ownership of like what you actually want to do, or how you want to use your energy, how you want to use your time?
Well, I guess that's how you would create or decide what a boundary is. So it's like, that would be the process to find out your boundary. I don't want to. I want my kids to be in bed by 7. Okay, what would be the boundary? Well, dinner by 5 and bath by 6, and so my boundaries are everything's off and closing down.
Yeah.
So I've decided what I want my life to look like. Then I have to create a structure, habits. It's a great one, isn't it? As I said, I'm like, does that create a boundary?
Well, let's maybe bringing it into our direct realm so it's practical for people.
Yeah.
Let's maybe look at whether it's training, nutrition, sleep, or whatever it is, healthier choices. Where does that show up? Which are the areas? And maybe we can discuss some specific scenarios and how it holds you back, and like maybe then how you can tackle it.
So great one, man, because it's fresh off. One of our new clients of the day was like, first or second week or something, and he was like, I couldn't just get the workout done. I kept being interrupted by client calls, or work calls, whatever it was. And I'm like, I set the boundary, man.
Yeah. So that one's
prime example.
Your clients. If you own your own business,
yeah, it's interesting.
But then there's also, if you're not a leader, your leaders demanding your time.
Yeah.
There's your team demanding your time. So there's like internal and there's external. There's clients like the service you provided.
Yeah.
There's internal, which is either someone that's above you or people that are below you
or next to
you. Then there is friends, right? That's more like maybe the alcohol example. Like, Jake, can you do this? Will you do this? Why aren't you doing this? Stuff like that. And then there's obviously family.
Yeah, well. And within those can be boundaries like, can you walk the dog for me because I'm out? Can you walk the dog? And then you're just walking the dog every Saturday and you really don't want to do it. You said yes, and you just walking the dog. You helped him out the first time. But there was no boundary around that. Like, I can walk the dog for you on Saturday, but I can't really do it for much more than 1 hour a week.
Boundaries are almost like a little negotiation, aren't they?
Yeah, man.
An unspoken negotiation.
I wonder if we have different, because we might have different boundaries. We only work with each other, but we have many clients. We have different so do we have a different boundary let's say we're in an office environment where we have maybe a dozen employees plus we have 3 people to answer to. Would we have a different boundary with different people? You know, Dave in accounts has a certain boundary because he's really needy and he always wants to know the numbers. And you know, Lisa in sales, she's different, but she's got a different boundary where she always wants to chat. Do I have to? Do I have a boundary that is just the same for everyone, or do I need a different boundary
Yeah,
based on
I think
personality types in my life?
100% definitely. You
Yeah.
need, because what we touched on before, there's the give and take, right? So someone might be someone that takes a lot, so you have to set a harder boundary with those people. Whereas people that naturally respect other people's boundaries more, then you don't have to be as aggressive with your boundary because you know that it's not going to get infringed upon. So it's like
Yeah.
it's a relationship, a boundary, isn't it?
Right. Right. And there's that. It's kind of like the what's the word? It's like the unspoken law that I'm not going to just stand right in your face and talk to you. We don't need to tell most people that.
Yeah.
You go to Sri Lanka in India,
Yeah.
you definitely do.
Children do it as well.
And children are like, hi, whoa, where did you come from? Right. So I did it this morning. I'm like, Daddy needs my space, and I did this, and I'm like, not within here, baby. You can play, but Daddy needs a moment. And whereas I need to worry about that. But there are also adults that will, and that's physical boundary. But yeah, so the question, right? Do we need different boundaries, different people? 100%. Is the answer, isn't it? And then, but how do we? So maybe perhaps it's. Well, I was gonna like, how do we communicate boundaries? Do you have to tell people?
I think you do. Yeah, it's a good question. You can either tell people or you can do it in a kind of, what's that word when you show anger? But it's passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive.
You can kind of do it in an indirect, passive way, which I'm not saying is wrong. I don't think you need to be. You don't need to literally go, I am setting this boundary for this reason.
Right.
But you can be more forceful. The way that you approach the things that you want to do, you can be more confident and direct with them.
Right.
I'm going to do this at this time, just so you understand.
Yeah.
That's a boundary without going,
hey,
I'm setting a boundary here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
there's two kind of ways to go about it.
Yeah, and you know, we had some neighbours a while ago, beautiful family, love them so much. I have those really good friends. But the little one would just turn up at like 9 o'clock at night and ring the bell, and you're like, that's our bedtime. So that had to be like to the little one, to the parents, like, not like we don't come out to play after 6 p.m. I'm setting a boundary, but it's this here's my guidelines. We don't come out, don't knock at the door after 6, please.
Yeah.
Done. Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
But they stay up till 9. Why wouldn't Joe answer the door at 9?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, here are some things, or some of my clients. They sent some message over last weekend, and I really wanted to be with the family on the weekend. And sometimes I'll reply and stuff, but typically if it's not a fire, I'm like, I'll send a Monday. Hey man, don't plan the weekend. I try and use the weekends for family time, of course. If there's an emergency, you can. Oh, cool. He's like, yeah, thanks, mate. No worries.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he knows.
This is
He's
what
not
I'm talking
waiting
about.
to hear about
That
straight away.
That's the self-respect.
Yes.
Because if you are confident in your boundaries, you're actually going to gain people's respect rather than lose it. If you have holes in the boundaries that you set, then people are more likely to. Let's say you were just kind of replied on the weekend, but you didn't say it strongly. Then that person will be more likely to then want your response on the weekend and to possibly get angry if you don't. If you go, this is my rule for myself and I'm doing it for a very important, valuable reason, people are like, that's amazing, man. I really respect you for that. And
then I would, so example B, when I was like, oh yeah, it's okay, man. Oh, here's your answer, A, B, and C. But I try not to use the answer on the weekend. So he's like, oh, whatever, next Saturday. Joe, here's the thing. I will then be annoyed with that person, and that's me. Because I didn't hold that boundary. And it's bringing up this idea of like, so I keep doing this right with a boundary. Like, if this is, like, push my hand, if this is my boundary.
Yeah.
Or if that's, right?
Yeah.
And so and that's it. Like, physically, like, if you're watching this, that's it. Like,
yeah.
With our kids, massive 90% of our clients have children or something. I don't know the number, a lot of them. That one. I want to have ice cream. Okay, I gave it to you once because you were annoying me and had the ice cream. Fuck, now you want to bloody part of my language, daily ice cream habit. My fault, didn't set the boundary.
Yeah.
Saturday's ice cream day. I'll take you out for the ice cream on
cool.
Saturday.
And that works in so many different ways as well. I mean, we did a workshop on responding versus reacting last week, and that the way that you set that boundary, let's say it is the child thing, it could be there's no boundary. Daddy, I want ice cream. Okay, fine. Like, yeah, go get it. Or here you go. It could also be stop asking me, I'm doing something. It could be angry, right? Doesn't set a very high level of respect from both angles.
Beautiful.
And then there's also not right now, for this reason, this is not gonna, I'm doing this now, this is not
when this
gonna happen now, and we can do that, right? Firm, confident, direct. Even a 4-year-old child will respect you for that kind of response.
That snappy piece, we're picking up on passive aggressive or even quite aggressive with like at work. Can you see? Leave me alone. I'm really busy right now. I don't know you're in accounts and you're trying to do your spreadsheets on Wednesday at 2:00 and it's really quite technical.
And that reaction is seen as weakness. Think about if you can think back to school, which were the teachers that got persecuted the most by the children? It wasn't the soft ones, which you would think. It's actually the ones that get angry because the kids just thrive off it. They see it as actual weakness. So who were the scariest teachers that who were the ones that you respected? The ones that didn't necessarily shout, but they were strong in the way they spoke. They were stern. They might have even had a joke with you once in a while, but they were super confident in their boundaries. So you naturally respected them, and the kids never did anything. Even the naughtiest kids wouldn't mess around.
I'll argue that that probably came with a story about that one time that Mr. Brooks did that thing, right? And you're like, does he? He seems so, that's scarier, right?
Yeah.
You've heard that story about he once threw the kid out the window, whatever the story is. So yeah, but you're right. Like I see it with. I mean, it's easy to see it with kids. They're pushing boundaries every day. That's what we're doing as little children. Like, that's what we have to practice. Well, how many times am I like, I told you we don't do that in the mornings.
Yeah.
They're just prodding and prodding and prodding. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it's important for us as parents, A, for ourselves to protect our time, space, energy, and B, to teach children what boundaries are. So that when they are, we've got little girls, man, when they grow up, like here's a beautiful example. We tickle wrestle with that bird. She loves it, right? But and then we get off, and then sometimes she's like, stop it! I don't like it. Don't touch me. Stop, right? Because like that's her actual boundary. We know when you kids when it's like not play.
Yeah.
You stop there because like as a little girl, and then someone's oh don't touch me, and then, oh no, but it's so she's like learning. If I say no with conviction, Daddy stops tickling.
Yeah.
Good. So she's learned that. Now we're hoping that everyone else's sons are being told the same thing about when somebody says no, stop. But these boundaries, And if we don't have that, like what kind of messy, sloppy person do you become in your life?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to respect Daddy's boundaries because he doesn't have any, and he doesn't respect mine, and he just tickles me or comes in the room and disturbs me when I'm sleeping because he's whatever. Like there's no boundary going on.
Mm-hmm.
We become a mess.
Yeah.
We need structure. We need. Yeah.
So let's talk about how boundaries can show up in the pursuit of your health and fitness. So let's talk like working out first.
Yeah, man. I think really, I guess it's really easy for me to say and observe that it happens a lot. As a human being, an adult person, we have a job. We have things in our diaries that we don't miss. Meeting with your board, the dentist, the MOT, kids' school time. You don't mess with that.
Yeah.
I don't call you on whatever Wednesdays when you have the kid. That's what happens. I'm not expecting you to do anything there. You don't expect anything when I'm babysitting at holiday. Why don't we do that with our fitness?
Well, we always say to our clients, don't we? Schedule your workouts in like a business meeting.
So that's how it shows.
That's because of a boundary, I guess, when you break it down.
This is my boundary. I'm out with the kids because it's school sports day. Done. You're not answering your phone. No one's going to call you.
So
you said it.
Hot take on that. If you feel that your workouts get deprioritized, like that's on you for not setting that boundary with whichever parties are involved in that. Because you're right, if you've got a dentist appointment, if you need to drop the kids off at school, if you've got a work meeting, that's going to happen. You're going to make that happen. It's going to be prioritized. You've set boundaries with the involved parties.
Imagine you answer your phone while you're in the meeting with your board of directors, and you're like, "Sorry, Dave wants something at football." Oh, and mate, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And if he did, cancel. So right, and hey, maybe the reason that they're going to keep interrupting is you've never said, "This is my time. It's my workout time," or just blocked it in your diary. That's, as you say, it's on you.
Do you think? Just interesting sidebar here. Do you think societally those things are just naturally more respected by people?
Yeah.
So exercise is seen as more of like a novelty, and it's not to
luxury.
It's more of a luxury. So,
yes,
most adults, if you said I have a meeting, there's a natural boundary and respect just societally that's been created around that. Whereas if it's like I'm going to the gym, or I'm going to do a workout, maybe it's just that natural societal boundary, isn't there?
Yeah, bro, and that's the boundaries that we create in my household, and I know you do in yours. It's like Daddy's working out now. Now, sometimes that workout will be with them in the room and doing the thing.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to the gym because I'm doing my weight session, everyone's like, "Oh, it's just as important as the thing," because it's like I've said the why and the where and how long, and I've set the thing. Here's that's happening, and that. But outside of my family, people are like, "Oh, well, can't you just do the thing on the way to the thing?" No, I'm doing that thing.
Yeah.
I'll sort that out later.
I think with the training side, I think family is going to be the biggest one that comes up. There's maybe a bit of work just to touch on, which is, oh, when you get home, can you do this extra bit of thing? No, that can wait till tomorrow. I've got this happening.
There's also our busy the clients that were like traveling all the time for work. They're on weird time zones, and they're like, well, I land and I have the business breakfast and I'm straight into work, and then da 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 da. I've been that guy, and every time I said I need to go and call my family, everyone's like, fine. And I would disappear for half an hour to call my family. Now I could say, I'm going to go and work out. I never did that. I just made my time for that. So come up with a way to set a boundary.
I think that's the easiest boundary to set. We can talk about partner in a minute, because I think that's a bit more complex. But other than that, I think the workout one is the easiest boundary to set, because it is really on you 100%. Because the reason maybe that we don't set that boundary is that we convince ourselves that whatever's required of us is urgent right now. The context can be broad for this, but there's the whole thing of no one will care if something waits 30 minutes or 15 minutes. Nothing. In a world where we have instant messages, instant emails, but we have this idea that people expect a fast response and in absolutely immediate response. Whilst there's a kind of a truth to that, it's not as instant as you think. If you say, I'm not going to answer my phone for 30 minutes because I'm doing a workout, you don't even need to tell anyone. That's on you. It's internal. Your idea that, oh, I need to be on call, or I need to reply to that email, or I need to do that bit of work, that's really on you. And there will be scenarios, maybe if you're a lawyer, you're a solicitor, something like that, where there's a time pressure. But most things, 99% of the things, they can wait for that half an hour. No one's going to miss you.
No. And if you are in those jobs, or any job where there's a deadline or something waiting, you just like, I've got a personal appointment, I'll be back at 1 o'clock. Tell them.
Yeah.
Just be clear. And that is exactly down to you. So if we like, then, so I feel like we've been quite clear with that. So I guess maybe the second part would be nutrition. Is that what you want to
Let's go to partner first, because I think partner when it comes to working out.
Right, okay.
Because I don't think it's so important when you don't have kids, maybe because you have a bit more autonomy over your time, and there's a bit more, the responsibility isn't shared with the children.
That's fair.
If you think that's wrong, let me know. But for me, I think with the kids, it's hard because, let's say you've been at work, your wife's been with the kids, or vice versa, and then you're then expected to like share that load, which is totally fair enough, right? So where do you create that boundary to go, this is also an important part because of X, Y, Z? I think sometimes it can get to the point where you actually do need to say, not just I am doing this, but you need to actually say like why this is important for all of us for me to do this.
Well, I'll flip it the other way. On Monday, I got up early. I'd done a no, I didn't work out because it was post Maisie Day, so I was exhausted. I was just knackered, so I woke up a bit blah. Went to a little fire circle at a neighbour's spot. Thanks, Miles. Got on with my work day. Jessamine had a really rough night. Monday's the busiest day, right? All the client check-ins and stuff. So she had a really rough night with the babe and was just like exhausted. Ava's not at school. She'd had them both up since 6. And then I just get him out to the park. She was just that day.
Yeah.
Right? And meanwhile, mid-morning, a mate called and said, "Hey man, I'm off today. Do you want to meet down near the gym, do a little workout and jump in the sea?" I was like, "Oh, I definitely want that." So I was like, "Cool, I'm working till 1 and I need to go meet my buddy and get back to work." Jess comes home, "Hey babe, yeah, I'm just going to go meet Leah for a workout." She just was like, "No." And she set her boundary. "I've done this. I need to go lie down. Apollo's frazzled. I need you to take Kavla out."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Now, a bit of me was like, "You've triggered me.
Yeah.
I want to do my thing. You've said no." And that was me. So I had to be like, okay, she set a very firm boundary. The why, what she needs. Well, the why and what she needs. Oh, I heard you. If she was like, oh, if she snapped and was like, "Oh, you always do whatever," then it would have got awful.
Mm-hmm.
She was a clear communication. Why that can't happen and what she does need, which is some quiet time with the baby.
Yeah.
I had to like quickly, like 2 seconds, slap myself in the face and go, "Oh, I'll take Adela for a swim. We had a beautiful time."
Yeah.
So it's both ways, right?
I think with your partner, you need to be a bit more adaptable with your boundaries, I would say. It's important that there are boundaries there because if you let parts of your relationship go on too long without putting boundaries in place that are important to you, then it'll be much harder to set those boundaries and there'll be resentment that's going to come from that. Yeah. So the boundaries are important, but there needs to be a bit more adaptability and some empathy as well. Yeah, communication.
Why
right?
setting this boundary?
If Jess had just said, "No, you're not doing that," like just because you can't have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we hear about this in relationships all the time, like brutal. But you're not doing that purely because I don't want you to enjoy yourself.
Right.
That's fucked. Like,
totally, man. So then,
but that happens.
It does happen. It happens a lot, and I'm blessed, and you are too, that we don't have that relationship. But I do see it a lot. So let's talk to that. So my piece would be like, well, I've set the boundary that I need to do this workout at lunchtime with my friends. Have a really hectic day. The reason my partner might be pissed with that is because she doesn't have any boundaries at all, and she hasn't found time to work out or told me when she needs to go and have some time. Kids or not, I need to go to my yoga class at this time or whatever. And that has happened with my partner before. Like, she'll be like, "I haven't done anything all week." I'm like, "Well, mine's in the calendar. Where's yours?" And it's if we're in a loving relationship, we can be like, "Okay, well, let's carve out these boundaries." Now, don't want to open this can, but the masculine and the feminine, and the masculine is the masculine has the power to hold the boundaries. I say it's like the masculine is the riverbanks and the feminine can we create the boundaries and then the feminine can flow. So I've then, a few months back, post Apollo's birth, Justin was like, "I need to start moving and working out. I need to find this time when we got the baby." So I created the boundary, which was, I can't remember what day we decided, Thursdays. She gets an hour and I take both kids, or Wednesday, baby's out of school, things like that. I created it and she could flow through. So I'm opening a masculine and feminine thing there because it's real. If we're struggling with our partner respecting our boundaries, have we supported them to create their own boundaries?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a partnership, isn't it? So you kind of start doing those things together.
Yeah. Yes. And the masculine is better at creating boundaries typically.
Mm. The weird thing, the difference with the partner thing, I guess, is that because you are living within the same ecosystem, right? You're almost, depending on your relationship, you're as one. You're spending a lot of time together. So with those boundaries, there also has to be empathy and respect for their boundaries as well, and what they need.
Yes.
So one of the things we've talked about before is what came to mind was like setting yourself up for success. So you create those boundaries for your partner in order for them to get what they need, so that then you can then implement on the boundaries that you you want to.
Beautiful, man. It's the team, like you both, for the relationship, which when we're in a good one, we all need to be happy. It means that I need to support my partner so that I can be happy, so that we can be happy, so the children can be happy.
Yeah.
When we're in our own, and then it's different with like work, but maybe it's the same.
Yeah, you have to do
Like if I create boundaries, so then my team knows what's going on, then they can work happier and smarter because they know where the boss is.
There's nothing. It goes back to the respect thing both ways. At the end of the day, if you are strict and strong with your boundaries and the parameters that you set, people just respect that. Like with the client you said about on the weekend, right? They love it. People are like, cool, that is a person that knows what they want, and they're strong about it and they're confident. It's respected. Whereas if you're floppy with it all the time and it's weak, then how can people then be confident in you? Let's say you are leading a team. If you don't have strong boundaries and you don't have structure, people don't know where they stand as well.
Bro, I'm calling it out. You know that place that we're trying to get an office from, and the response we get when it's like, can we get the office? And it's like this wishy-washy no. So we're like, oh, so can we talk about it? Because I think there's a way. And then it's like, sort of no. And you were very good. You're like, oh, just leave it. But it wasn't a clear no. Yeah. That was like this soft thing. I have lost all respect for these people. Because I'm like, I don't know if you mean no.
Yeah.
Or yes.
Just say,
or maybe.
Say what you want.
Just be like, you are too tall to live in this building. Oh, I don't like that, but thank you.
Yeah.
I'm too tall. Cool. Can't change that. See you later. Bye. It's about the brand. And bringing it back. What happens when you say that to your kids? This is a great example because it's so pure and innocent. Oh yeah, we'll probably go later to the park. Can we go to the park? Go to the park. We're gonna go. Daddy's gonna do this. Then we're gonna hang the washing out, and then we're making dinner, and then we'll go to the park. Okay. Tends to calm down.
Yeah.
Clear.
Well, it's about. I guess that's the keeping your promises thing, isn't it? Yeah. If you don't, it really shows up with the kids.
Yeah.
But it's almost a mirror for what can happen with other things. Oh, well, maybe we could go on to the nutrition, but why are you eating that, or why are you eating that way? Oh, come on, just have a little bit of this. If you leave a gap or your wall breaks down on your boundary of something that you want once, then it's then easier. People don't then trust you or respect it again, and you see it in the kids, right? If you don't keep a promise to the kids, then they're going to infiltrate that break in the wall, aren't they?
I really like this, man. Like, and to move that into nutrition, like I've just suddenly got this picture. Like, so it started with the analogy of my boundary wall at my house, and we've got CCTV, and the analogy would be like, if I've then watched my CCTV and I've seen a break in the wall, and I've awareness, right? I'm aware that I've let some donuts in, right? Okay, some donuts came in there, and that boundary was no sugar. All right, cool. Okay, what am I going to do now? So it's we hold these boundaries, and sometimes they will flex, and particularly I'd say with nutrition. I'm at my friend's stag do. Oh, we're on a lads golf trip. Oh, it's July 4th and everyone's barbecuing and there's beers flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are when it's really hard to hold boundaries. I think it's really easy, and I'll say this with conviction, to create boundaries around our workouts. So timestamp. That's in the diary, do your workout. Nutrition, it flows through the days, right?
Where do you think the line is between something being a boundary and something being a rule? Let's say you have a nutrition rule, no sugar, or you have a nutrition brownie.
If you want a brownie, Jake.
I actually don't, but maybe not. No, a nutrition boundary, which is, I don't want to eat sugar. I don't want to eat processed food, or maybe they're the exact same thing. I don't eat sugar. What's the difference between that being a rule and being a boundary? Because I still think we're trying to work out what a boundary is with this conversation.
Is it the same thing?
Is a boundary, to me, a boundary is more about ultimately it's about creating a set of parameters that allow you to do the things that you want in your life.
So if the rule is no sugar, what boundaries do I have to create around my life, my eating patterns?
To me, a rule is a bit more, it's less about me, and it's more, it could be more about like what you think you should be doing to get to that place, or it's not just about you. To me, a boundary is more about like what I actually need, what I actually want, how I protect my time and my energy. Whereas rules, I feel, can be a bit more externally motivated. As in, it could be a societal thing that's made you choose that route. It could be a diet you think you should be following to get a result. It should be.
For some reason, I'm thinking of this to try and answer this question. You go to a swimming pool and there's a set of rules on the wall, like no running, no smoking, no showering. Those are rules for safety in the pool. They're not boundaries. Those are like, you will not smoke, you will not run, you will not shout. There's not any, like, that's it. Is a boundary that the pool's created called keeping everyone safe. I don't know. We've got to keep all of our people safe here. And the rules in order to keep everyone safe mean no shouting, running, and smoking. I don't know.
Yeah.
So is my boundary? No, because that's not a boundary. Isn't I want to be healthy? That's not a boundary.
No.
I want to eat well. That's not a boundary. That's like an intention, maybe.
I think boundaries must be more about. Are they not about time, energy, and physical space?
Definitely physical space. I think physical space is a really easy one for me to go, yeah, that's definitely a boundary.
Like energy boundary. Oh, can you just do this extra work when you get home? Or can you do those things when you get home? That's kind of time as well. Oh, Jake, do you mind just doing this? Yeah. Like people are basically encroaching into your time reserves to able.
Yeah.
Boundaries are maybe more in reaction to other people, whereas rules like aren't necessarily a person to person thing. Do you think boundaries are like a relationship thing?
Do you have boundaries with yourself, or is it always with other people?
I think boundaries are more with other people. I think it's a relationship dynamic.
Because I have rules that I do things for me. Like I must do this for da-da-da.
We're really
boundary is like kids don't come into the bedroom or after whatever the rules are. Or I don't work after 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So I honestly, hey, everyone at work, my phone's off at 8 p.m. Oh, that's just boundary.
Yeah. I honestly think a boundary is a dynamic of a relationship. It could be a group of people as well.
And I think, and boundaries, as you said, are like flexible. So I can be there's some boundaries like this, like no weirdos can come in the garden. I'm like, sure, you can house wall. Oh, daddy needs to work out every morning. That might flex and open a bit.
Yeah.
Depending on sleep patterns.
Well, it's the person, let's say the person knocking on your door at 9 p.m., right? If that was a drunk person off the street, the boundary is strong. Like, get off my land. If it was you, it would be kind of like, oh, Joe, what's up? A bit weird, but like,
half door open.
If it was your mother-in-law, oh, cool, come in. Like, what's the matter? So with different people, there's different boundaries, which is why I feel like it's almost a relationship thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, it could be with an individual, it could be a group of people, it could be an entity, but it is a relationship.
And we don't always have to communicate those boundaries, right? Like we were saying before.
They can come societally though, can't they? Because why do British people, why are they so good at queuing? Whereas like you go to like Portugal or whatever and it's just like chaos.
Yeah. Huh.
That's almost like a societal boundary that's been set.
It's not a rule, is it? Queue in a straight line.
It's not a rule. It's definitely not a rule.
Yeah.
But it's a boundary, right? You don't cross that boundary. Like people just don't do it in the UK.
I think a lot of it is about energy and space. So like in that example, we queue because if it's chaos, the energy's fucked. Who's first? How do we work it out? Where's my place in the world? So when we create these boundaries, it's about like, don't come into my energy. Don't bring your energy into my energy. Again, we're talking physical, but what is the difference between boundary rules?
What happens? What's the risk if you don't have strong boundaries to your health and fitness routine?
Well, we've seen it. It goes out the window, doesn't it? There is no routine. There is no boundary. There is no. People just don't get it done.
You don't get what you want.
You don't get what
you won't get the results that you want.
No.
You won't be consistent with your workouts. You won't be as intent. The intent won't be as high because you might be distracted by other things. You're more likely to make poor food choices, not because you even wanted to, but because other people wanted you to. You're more likely to drink, obviously. you're more likely to stay up late,
Mhm.
you're more likely to not seize opportunities to do the things you want. A great one for me is recently, I think we talked about this on the other podcast, like the tiers of opportunity in your day to do the things that you want to do. So maybe you have this primary slot, which is this is my number one slot when I want to do a workout, and then you almost have a few more opportunities that you know if they don't work out, like there's other opportunities.
Yeah.
So my final tier is the kids go to bed tier. I don't really want to train then. I would rather just chill out with my wife and like hang and whatever and decompress before bed. But sometimes I'll just be like, kids have gone to bed, like Morgan might be doing something like, Morgan, I'm just going to go on the Peloton for 45 minutes. Okay, cool. We'll hang after that. So like setting a boundary there. But what I'm saying is if you don't have those boundaries and you're too influenced by what other people say they need, what you think other people need, then you're probably not going to get done the things that you want to get done. And you'll look back and be like, man, why didn't I do those things?
So I think, like, again, I don't know if we really answered this, and I don't know if we will without breaking out like a Wikipedia definitions, but what I'm moving in towards like a practical way to get what you need and want out of what you're doing our program, like you're working out your nutrition, your sleep. You need to like when you start, before you start, go, what do I want this to be? Like we talk our goals with our clients and stuff, but really for you, for me, in my situation, what I want and what boundaries I need to set in order to get those.
And who with?
I work an 80-hour week because I'm a lawyer. That's what I do. That's not stopping. I work 5.5 days a week. That's just my life. And I travel 3 times a week and I'm on a plane and I'm in hotels. That's my life. Right. But I've signed up and I said I want to do this thing. Okay. What does that look like? Do I need to communicate any of those things with anyone? Or do I just need to block it in my calendar?
Is it boundaries with myself?
Is it?
Yeah, it's yourself as well. Like,
Totally.
Are you doing stuff for the sake of it and actually being lacking your own that self respect of yourself and your own
full thing? Like, am I just? I can choose this. So it's that, right? And going, I know, and I love this about a lot of our class. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this food thing. So I'm on this like corporate hospitality trip for 2 weeks. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Can I help? Can you help me? Go, yes.
Okay, so let's dive into that specific scenario. So what are the worries in that situation? I think number one is what other people are going to think about you.
100. I'm so glad you said it, because that's right. It's not, oh, they only serve pizzas and burgers. It's not that.
No, there's always a choice.
Definitely not.
I always say to clients, I say, how do you handle that situation? And this is what I tell them. The main issue that people, the mistake that people make when they get into a scenario that's out of their full control, which would basically be, it could be, I'm not going to be able to make my lunch today, so I'll have to get it out. Or it could be I'm away for a work trip for a week, or I'm on vacation. Is that because they're not in full control, then they relinquish 100% responsibility.
Yeah.
You still have 100% responsibility in that scenario. Now, is the best decision the most optimum decision in the grand scheme of life? Probably, maybe not, but there's a spectrum of choices. If you go to a restaurant, you can either choose to, at one end, you might have 3 courses, everything's deep fried, you drink 2 bottles of wine,
on it,
or you could also get the steak with like the tender salmon, drink sparkling water. Neither of those choices are right or wrong, but there is a choice to be made in every scenario. So number one, when you're setting those boundaries, is own it. Like take responsibility, because you can still you don't relinquish responsibility just because you're not in the usual environment or you're not in control of the situation.
So that's your boundary, being flexible based on your situation. If I kept that rigid boundary, said, well, I boil my own eggs every morning and I make this really healthy salad every lunch in my lunch pack, and at dinner I just have that piece of salmon and a bit of broccoli. You're not going to do that when you're in a different hotel. No. There's not. So what is your boundary? You need to flex and go, well, I can hit a supermarket and stock up on some jerky and nuts.
Exactly.
I can definitely do that. I can pre-order a bag of protein shake because I'm traveling, and I'll bring my mixer and I buy some stuff and I put it in the hotel fridge. Oh, they don't have a fridge. There's a fridge in the hotel. Like, the excuses keep coming.
Yeah, and you have
a choice.
That's why it's so important to have these different systems. So with our clients, like, we will help them with the systems. There's your home system, but then there's your traveling system. There's your vacation system. That you have these fallback strategies to deal with those things, and that is one of the reasons why when people join plans or programs or follow a diet, the main reason they get thrown off, if we're not talking about the motivation being
Yeah.
finite and it being too aggressive, is a change in circumstance like travel, and then it's back to square one.
Yeah.
So if you can develop strategies and keep the ownership in those scenarios, then it's going to allow you to actually succeed long term.
Brother, I mean, that's the big one. We talk about it. Ownership. Own your ship. Own it, man. You're driving your ship. You're driving your ship into a 2-week hospitality tour where there's client breakfast every day, and it's all right, cool. What are you gonna do about it?
Mm.
If you ask, and I guarantee this, if you ask at these things, you're going to hotel lunches, whatever. Do you have another option? If you're in the world that our clients are operating in, and you're going to kind of places that they're probably going to, the places you're eating will provide you something.
Yeah.
I don't want this
You just have
massive.
to
I don't
ask.
want pizza. Oh, I could hit you up a plain bit of beef for you. Yes, please, thank you.
Yeah.
Ask, and like you said at the beginning, you people are too worried. We humans are too worried about what other people think. I'll look weird. I'll look like the healthy weirdo. Amazing. Be the healthy weirdo, man.
Yeah.
You signed up.
Wherever we go with this from
Yeah.
this point, I think it's really important to say that the main reason that we don't put boundaries in place is because we have a fear
Yeah.
of what other people will think or their response. We don't want to create confrontation, or we don't want to create conflict or friction. But the the reality of it and the irony of that belief is that if you have strong boundaries, you will people will have so much more respect for you for setting those boundaries, and you won't have to deal with the issues around those boundaries, like the people trying to penetrate the boundaries, because they will respect you for having the confidence in putting in the way that you deliver the boundary, the way that you act around the boundary, the fact people will respect you for actually doing what you say, keeping your promises, working on the things that are important to you. Whereas we actually believe the opposite before we set the boundary, which is that people won't respect us. Yeah. People will think it's stupid. People will be like, why are you doing that? But the actual opposite is true.
If I was thinking about this, man, I love it, Jake. And I was thinking about it. I was driving today, taking up to school, and I saw this obese person, and I was like, they weren't obese when they were born, right? They weren't obese when they were 5. They weren't obese when they were 8. Maybe they were slightly overweight, but then it was a series of choices and boundaries that, as an adult, they didn't set.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership, right? That we can choose. We have an absolute choice every single day to do better, to change, and to create a boundary. I can wake up one day, which I did, and went, I don't need to drink alcohol anymore. So I stopped. Going back to that, it was like I had to then step away from a few social things because for me, it wasn't strong enough. I didn't have the depth of the friendship to sharpen this. I just sort of ghosted a bit. That's how I do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you lie, you're at the work function and you're worried about saying that thing. I need to call the family. Got a stomach bug. I'm just going to head back to the room, get a little rest in. Or maybe that's too much for you. Find a way. There's always a way. You can find your comfortable boundary and how you communicate it. And that is about confidence. The irony is the confidence will come. How often do we see that? People have been working out with us for, I'd say, the month mark. They're like, wow, I can actually say one thing. Mm-hmm. So stick with it and don't worry.
So a boundary is about choice. But choice
you're choosing to make that boundary.
Avila, Daddy, don't tickle me anymore. My choice. Yes. Avila's choice for that to stop.
I can choose my boundary to be here and let you get right up in my face.
Yeah.
Or I could choose my boundary to be over there. I'm choosing that.
Choice. I choose to eat this because that's for whatever reason. So I choose to not let people come into my house after 6 o'clock because that's family time. I choose to work out at this time because that's important to me. Like, to me, it's choice.
And the reason I went off on one on the obesity piece and choices is because I guarantee, and it's kind of what you touched on earlier, if I say at the work function, I'm not eating all the pizza, I'm going to have this salad, I'm having a sparkling water, people might joke and say, "Oh, you weirdo," and you stuff. All these things, as you said, it's them. They want to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be healthier. How many times do we? I've had it, and then someone maybe message you going, "I love what you said there." Okay, what did you do? How did you do that? But they don't want to say it in public because that would be weird. Well, I'm blessed that I don't mind. I don't know. Say what they think all the time. People don't, for whatever reason. Be the lighthouse. There'll be someone in that team that you're in going, I want to do what Jake's. How does he only eat salad? And I want to be able to do that. Like, you found us, client. You found Jake. I'm here too. You found Jake, and you're like, oh, this is beautiful. I want to be this thing. This life is what I want. There'll be someone else that you're in your world that might be not saying anything or laughing that also probably wants that.
Yeah.
But Jake had to have the confidence to stand up and go, this is how I'm living and this is what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to go.
A client said in the group it was either last night or this morning. I don't know if you checked it out.
Track that. It's been
but he said that's been one of the most amazing things is actually not just the results he's achieved for himself, but actually that knock-on effect on other people. The curiosity of how maybe people that would have been critical of it before because of the image that they have to show to the people around them. Weird thing about society, but another topic. But that who can you help from your boundaries that you create?
I love it, man. And imagine a society where everyone was working out, everyone's healthy. There wasn't bloody Krispy Kremes on every corner and McDonald's is on. Imagine that world. Well, that would exist when people like you and I and all you beautiful people that are doing the thing stand up and go, come with me. Come and do this thing too. This thing is great. Do it. This is weird. Us all sitting in the pub on a Tuesday slumped over with a massive pub is weird. That's weirder than not doing it and going for a run.
Well, let's maybe a good way to close this out. What time are we on?
Yeah,
just over an hour. So, what happens when you do create strong boundaries in your life? Well, to me, it's kind of pretty clear, and it's hard to find a negative, which is you will look back and you will have done the things that you wanted to do because you weren't influenced by what other people. They didn't let other people steal your time, your energy, your space. You'll have made the choices that you want, and as a result, like the actual results that you wanted would have come from those consistent choices. You won't feel resentful or feel like you've wasted your time and energy for things that weren't important to you. And most importantly, after doing all of those things consistently for a while, you'll respect yourself more than ever before, and you'll be more confident than you've ever felt in your entire life because you do what you want to do. And that's not about being selfish. That's really important to say. This isn't about being selfish at all. There's still empathy, there's still adaptability, there's still love to the people around you and the people that matter. But you will be confident that you do the things that are important to you and you prioritize the things that are important to you and you don't waste your life on things that don't matter or that other people want from you.
And you need to be selfish to make the first choice. I want to change. I want to lose some weight. I want to do that. So this is for me. So my cup can be full. So I can have enough for the rest of the people in my life, family, partners, work, colleagues, friends. And when you're 80, let's say we're 90, I'm living to 90 plus. When I'm 90, do I want to look back and go, I'm really glad I fit in. And I didn't work out because that was weird. And I'm so glad I didn't change my diet and got a bit fat because that would have been weird if I... No. I'm going to be like, I'm glad I'm still playing tennis. I'm glad I'm still can ride my bicycle. I'm glad I can still pick up my own shopping and carry up the hill because I made all those choices. And I might have upset some people in my 30s or 40s when I made those choices. I might have alienated some people because I stopped drinking, lost the beer, got my energy back. I'll definitely want to be that person, not the one who goes, I'm so glad I fit in, but I can't move much, but at least I went to the pub every Friday because that's what you do. No, man. Like be the change is what's be the change. Like our society does not celebrate health, really. Like we do. Like if you're a superstar, you're Usain Bolt, you're I don't follow football. I'm going to reference Ryan Giggs. He was in the 90s. That's the nearest footballer I've got. Like, that guy, wow, yeah, we're just going to do a little minimum and just still the McDonald's and 6 pints.
I saw, yeah, there's
Be the change.
I can't remember who posted it, but I think a few people have rehashed it, but it was something like eat 5 pieces of toast with like marmalade and, you know, like Nutella and whatever, pancakes, bacon, and no one bats an eyelid, and have like an omelette with like, I don't know, whatever, and everyone's like, what are you doing?
100%, man. Like, you go to the pub, sit there and drink a couple of shots of tequila and 4 pints, sit there with 1 lemonade, you're the weirdo. No.
That's the
like
system.
I want to, and that's why we're friends. That's why I choose now the people I'm friends with, because I want my kids to grow up in a world where it's normal that we all work out. I can't wait for our kids to be like the age. I'm not wishing my life away. But they're like, this is what we do.
Yeah, man.
We're all good.
I mean, that's
Daddy, like Axel and Adler doing pull-up competitions. What a dream! Not gaming.
That's a really important boundary that we haven't talked about though. Is like who do you spend your time with? Like, let's say a great example. Like, we live in a pretty small place, so like you bump into people. There's might be someone. I'm not actually thinking of someone in particular, but say you bump into someone and they just bite your ear off every time you see them. They're whining, they're complaining, and they just want you there for as long as possible. They have zero respect for your time, zero respect for your energy, and it's all about them. I'm happy to say that I don't want those relationships in my life. I'm not here to. We're here for a finite amount of time on this planet.
Yeah.
I've got people that I love that I want to spend my time in. I've got things that I want to achieve.
Yeah.
A strong boundary there is like, I'm getting out of this conversation and I'm going to avoid it. And even if it eventually has to be a bit of cold shoulder, like, I'm happy to do that, because you don't have to be the people pleaser. Like, you don't have to be the nice guy all the time.
No.
This is your life. Like, take the reins and create the boundaries where you need to in order to get the things that you want and spend your time in the way that you want to spend it.
That's beautiful, man. I mean, anything I'll add, maybe we should close it out, is like, what boundary would, it's again like, would you let your kids, what boundary would you want your kids to have in all of these situations? What they eat, how they move, what they work out, who they spend their time with. Are you doing that?
It's a great exercise, because at the end of the day, we all want the best for our kids, right? And we will often go above and beyond for our kids, but won't show the same level of respect and empathy and love to ourselves. So what a cool exercise to do. Maybe that's the takeaway, that you sit down and look at these different areas of your life where maybe the boundaries aren't so strong, or the things that you want to achieve, and say, if this was my child, what would I want? How would I want them to act? What boundaries would they want to have in place? Like, how would they go about the world? And then it's like, right, okay, cool. That's what I want to do for myself.
Oh, we got to do your homework, so you're really gonna get you whatever. My kids aren't at school yet, or kids aren't proper school yet. But when they go, oh, we got to do well, so you're gonna win at life. Are you winning at life? Are you making choices at whatever age you are to have the best rest of your life? So that's it, man. We all, like, looking at both ends of that. You're looking at your children at the beginning and how you want them to live, and then you look when you're in your deathbed in your last years, and looking back. You got to look from there, like, go to the horizon, look at it all. You can't, we get stuck in these little siphons of now and here. Just come out of there. What's going on here? What would little Joe want? What would old Joe want? What would little Joe tell me? What would old man Joe tell me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
the wisdom is within.
Yeah, man, totally. Again, let's just round it off there. It's all here.
Yeah.
You can't tell me anything. You can tell me you got to work out at 9 o'clock. You've got to eat only eggs and only steak and broccoli. I've got to make the choice to do that. And go, I hate broccoli. Cool. I'm cool. Right? Here. Own your shit.
Yeah.
Own your shit.
Yeah. So, nice. Question for today. Where do your boundaries get pushed? Where you don't like them getting pushed? What impact does that have?
Yes. And
maybe more of a helpful question, like, where do you feel you need help with setting boundaries? Like, where do you struggle?
Beautiful.
And if there's anything that you'd like to know from us in terms of setting boundaries and how we do it, like we'd be more than happy to answer that.
Nice.
Groovy.
Thanks, team.
Peace out.